Well, how about that? It says I'm live. Hello, Mr. Ed here on for us here in Louisiana, a beautiful, very beautiful Saturday. I think it's the 16th or 15th of March. I'm not really sure. But thanks so much for stopping by. Hey, Dennis, hello. How are you today? Thanks for stopping by, Dennis. Thank you. So I mean, I got I've been like super really busy with just the swarms and being on the road traveling. And I think it's been at least a month now since I've gone live. And I figured, well, let me go live today because there's no telling when I'm going to get another chance to do it. Little Klondike, man. So, and I remember you told me your name, and I don't remember it. It's in my book. But thanks so much for being a member, and I hope you get to see Steve pretty soon. And when next time you do see Steve, make sure you tell him I said hello. James, thank you, brother. James, thank you. Hugs from Nebraska. Hello from the Midwest. Wildwood Honeys, Mr. Ed, just email. I got your email and I was going to respond to you. We just had him. Hey, did you see James? Did you see Steve? Leo, hello. King of High Removal. That's the Dirt Rooster, not me. Lori Mangus, hello. Ohio. Wow, we man. I know it's just hey Jeffrey from Clearwater. Oh, thank you. Saiful Islam. Hello. Talk to him about making a trip. Oh, that would be great. James, twist his arm, make him come on down here. And then we could all go do a removal. They're starting to line up right now. Wanda, hello from Alberta, Canada. Wow, we thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Wanda, very much. Fred from New York. What part of New York, Fred? Look, I'm like really excited to be able to come. Craig, hey, how come you didn't go to the conference? I mean, I was looking forward to seeing you there, and you weren't there. But I looked for you. It was that conference up in New Bern that Randy and I just got back from last week. Hey, Ray, hello from sweet Idaho. Thank you for joining with me, Ray. Thank you very much. We had got back from well, actually, Randy and I left to go to Tops Tactical and other cool stuff. Hey, brand new beekeeper, and first time you coming on my channel. 40 years. Hey, Terry, man, we got all the members joining today, huh? That is awesome. Well, so let me get back to the story with the Dirt Rooster. And he and I spoke at the North Carolina State Beekeepers Association, their that's their spring conference. Carl from Sweden, hello. And and since he and I live pretty close together, um, I can understand, Craig. He and I live pretty close together. Uh, and I am not a big, hey, Bryce, how are you? Bangladesh. Wow. Oh no, Tony, you don't have anything better else to do. You have got to be busy. Hey, Tony, I just got a call just now. In fact, I'm at to cut the live broadcast short because I got a cutout. I mean, a swarm to catch, and I got my everything BVAC is all ready to go. So I'm not going to make a video on it. We're just going to go over there and get the bees so I can put that first one on the Dirt Rooster. Hey, Daniel. So let me speak about the Dirt Rooster and our trip to North Carolina. Those guys they treated us so great. I mean, I really do appreciate it. Hey, Wanda. They treated us so good. And look at all them thumbs up, bumblebees, man, prayers and everything, Wanda. We got over there and they picked us up from the airport. Well, that was the first thing, the airport. I do not like, I don't like going by airplane. I don't like doing that. It's too nerve wracking for me. I'm too old, and I don't. It's just too stressful. The airports are too stressful. So I had asked Randy if maybe we could fly out of Gulfport, that's where Randy lives in Gulfport. It's a much smaller airport, and see if the stress level wasn't as bad for me. And man, I got there, and it's like it was so nice. It was such a breeze going through TSA, going the the gates. There was only four gates there, and just a tiny little airport. And I thought that airport was small, but then we flew to Charlotte, and hey Lisa, um, we flew to Charlotte. That's a terrible airport. And then from there, we flew to New Bern, and that airport was like half the size of Gulfport, and so you can only do the commuter jets. There's no big commercial airlines here, and it was just a wonderful thing. We got there, and Dave, and I can't remember Dave's last name. Dave is waiting there to pick us up, and he's there holding us on. 628 Dirt Rooster and Mr. Ed holding the sign. It's like he brought the whole crowd with him. Actually, it was just him by himself, but uh, there was a whole crowd of people, and from what I understood, Dave was the highest bidder to come pick me and Randy up at the airport. No, that's not true. I'm just saying that. But Dave, thank you so much for picking us up at the airport, and then he actually brought us back, and it was really it was a great experience up there, and I met dozens of subscribers. There were a few members that were there. It was just a super experience up there, and it's just like they treated us so well. And when we were speaking, the it was pretty engaging with the audience because both he and I spoke in the large conference, Flower Street Fee Barns. Hello from Colorado. We spoke in the big conference room, so there were usually about 300 people that we were speaking in front of each time, and it was. I, if y'all get the chance to be around the Rooster and I together, separately we do all right, but when we get together, it's bad. And the plane ride there and back, that was no exception. We we were cutting up pretty good, and Randy started with the Briscoff crackers. Ask if they got some Briscoff crackers. So that's all he had to do was just say that, and then took the ball and ran. And I was always asking the stewardess, "Can we have some Briscoffs down here?" And when we got on the plane, oh, that was a good story. Let me tell you on the plane. So we're sitting, and I don't know if you all realize this. Randy is a kind of a big fella, and we're sitting in these two seats right behind first class, and Randy's got his legs all stretched out trying to at least be able to sit in the chair somewhat, and he's sitting back, and there's once the plane takes off, you have to pay for your internet if you want to use your phone up there. But in first class you don't have to pay for internet, and we're sitting right behind right we're sitting right behind uh, the first class. And so, okay, I'm not making this up. Well, Randy's in flip flops. It's warm. It's probably about 75 degrees. He's in flip flops, and he takes his phone and he sticks it in his toes, and he stretches his legs into first class. So now he's got he's got Wi-Fi on his phone. That guy, he is large, so he got away with having Wi-Fi on his phone. Now he probably doesn't want me to tell that story, but I told him I'm going to say it anyway. We did some other bad things that I really can't talk about because we probably could get arrested for it if they know it was us. But one other thing that we did get is could you imagine finding your seat on your flight and find Mr. Ed's? That would be, it's not really good. So the other thing is that we sat um, on our flight from Charlotte to New Bern. We both sat on the seats that had the emergency doors on them. So we sat on those seats, and they always ask you, are you able to do that? And so we both said, yeah. So we did that. We got to New Bern, no problem. So when went back to Charlotte, when we were leaving the conference, we had the same seats, and they don't serve drinks or anything because it's just a 45-minute jump. So they don't serve anything. So the stewardess came back and asked us if we are capable of doing the job that we were assigned, or it's because of our seats assignment. And we said, man, we got experience at this. We did the same thing. Yeah, we got experience. So we ought to be able to get at least a Coke and some Biscoffs. And sure enough, she brought us our Coke and our Biscoff crackers. So it was a perk for being able to sit on the seats that had the emergency doors on it. So how come nobody's writing no comments? What's going on? Let's see. There's 59 people already are watching. Got 22 thumbs up. Thank you. Come on, we got some questions. Ask me some questions. Tony, I know you got a question about me for your BVAC. Right before I got on, my buddy Billy from here up the Abbey called me up and he said he was eating lunch at a restaurant just down the road and goes, and there's a swarm of bees coming on landing on one of their brick pilings. And so right after we get off air right here, I'm going there and get my picture there and send it to Randy and saying that'll be my first swarm that I caught this year. But I've already turned down two of them already because I've been too busy with doing our splits. So it's really, really busy time. David. So look at that. So David was one of the guys in New Bern. I'm telling you, that place was such an awesome place. But in the last 3 weeks, hey Dennis, what do you do without cutout? What do you do with cutout honey? Generally, that honey, if I've got just a little bit, it goes right to the bees. If I still feed the bees with that honey, and whatever. If I have surplus, the monks get that. Please share why you don't treat for mites, because in our area, it's really not necessary. I'm gonna give you the facts of what our cutouts, but this year my losses without treating were 26%. So I'm not, 26%, and I don't treat. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I don't have enough time to go after cutouts and swarms because I have too many colonies to split right now. Yeah, well, Tony, Charlie and I have been working doing our splits all of this week, and I'm gonna get to that in a few minutes once I get on. But hey, DCBs, what determines when you start your splits? When I open up the box and I run 2 deep supers, when I take the lid off, if I see bees in that little hole coming out, I got to open up and see if it's time. And that's but it's time right now for us, for you too. The Jacksons, Brother Jeff saying hi from Maui. All right. Thank you very much. A lot up here treat for my. I know I'm not up in northeastern seacoast treating for bees, and I have nothing against treating for bees. I always I say that you need to do whatever you need to do to keep your bees alive. For me, I don't have to treat. We still have losses, but it's not paramount or necessary for me to treat. And in the video that I posted yesterday showing the cutouts, I mean not the cutouts, the splits that we're getting ready to do, and I show that Charlie shows it, the drones that are in that bridge comb. Very, very, very few mites do we come across. We just don't have the mite load that other people do. And the reason for that, I couldn't tell you, but some say it's the humidity, the weather, but whatever the reason, our mite load just is not as heavy. How did you get started with hive removals? I started watching JP and I said, that is such a cool thing. And what a great way to get freebies. So that's how it did. How did you pick up jobs? People initially I knew people had bees in their house. And then once the word got out that there's somebody at the Abbey that does removals, then that just kind of snowballed. And now it's just general fact that there's somebody at the Abbey that'll come and take bees out of your house. First 2 nukes scheduled to pick up in April. So it'll be next year, I'm assuming for next year. A colony swarmed from my shop 3/4 mile a few days ago. They moved into my dead out boxes by my house. They love me so much they want to be close. No, Tony, they didn't. It's not that they love you too much. It's so dry and there's no place for them bees to go. They'll go to any box in the storm. Mark, how many hives do you have? A good question because I actually know right now. After I did everything, we have 113 hives. That's what we've got right now. How does the Abbey give you an annual budget to work with? No, whatever monies that Abbey Honey gets, it's from the sale of the honey to the gift shop, donations that people give specifically for Abbey Honey, and then that's it. And donations specifically to Abbey Honey and the sale of honey. Now, some of the people that we keep our bees in the yard, they they generally make a donation every year for the Abbey for keeping bees on their property. So that's how it's done. What do you think about Ukrainian beekeeping? I think beekeeping in general, and I know there is a Ukrainian, and I don't know the name, but he sent me emails showing the pictures. Beautiful beehives, beautiful setup. Um, I just the political environment in the Ukraine. Because it's so unstable. I don't see how people can really operate. We're blessed to live here in the States where that kind of upheaval is not going on. Better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. You see, David, you were listening. That's true because that's part of the story of me at the Abbey, and I love telling that story. And in fact, every place I go, I begin with that story because most people don't really know how all this stuff began. So it's one of my favorite stories to tell. I have holly bushes in my front yard. Bees visit around September. Our holly is blooming right now, and you go by any holly tree and it sounds like a train. They're just like, it's just awesome. I don't know if there are any bees or swamp. Terminex was handling another matter. He said honeybees. Um, I can. It's there. There may be yellow jackets in there, but I would just go out on a limb and say it is honeybees. And honeybees, they around the petals, the flowers, they they move slower. Where a wasp, they dart around, but honeybees move generally slower, and they're just calmer than wasps are. In one of your years past video, I saw a big sign, Mr. Ed's Restaurant. Is that yours? No, that's on that video. That was one of the collaboration videos that it was JP, Shawi, the Dirt Rooster, me and Charlie. We had done a removal at a lady's house in Metairie. JP was doing the removal, and he had asked me to come by, and I said, well, why don't you get Shawi to come too? So JP asked Shawi, and then I asked Randy if he'd stop by, and it was all a big surprise. We all met up, and because nobody really thought it was just for sure me and JP. And then after we did the removal, we went and ate at Mr. Ed's, and that's what we just put that on the on the beginning of the video. And it's funny because I said, yeah, that's one of my restaurants. If you need to get in touch, Randy's my manager here, and get in touch with him, and he'll square things away. 113 right now, but after we do our splits, it's gonna be about 160, 170. So it's gonna go up. I like being 150 is where I want to be. Um, we actually were at 152 is where we were going into December and or November, and because that's the last time I counted them. That's when I brought all of our hives down to two deep supers, and I counted them. And so from November to right now, we lost 39, 39 of our hives, which 26% loss. So I can definitely live with those losses. I'll bounce right back up. In fact, so this is my little cheat sheet paper after I go through all of my yards, and we've gone through the first rounds of splits. That is either putting a double screen dividing board in it, or finding a swarm cell and using the swarm cell. And my record said that we out of those 113 hives, 51 of them we used a double screen dividing board in. 21 of them we used a swarm cell in, and 41 of them were not ready to be either split or have a board put in them. So those will get visited each time we go back. Thank you so much, Mahadi. Thank you very much. Hey, Dennis, I know where Lambrook is. He's up in Maine, I think. In fact, Bryce asked me to do a presentation with him beginning of April of him and the club. So I'll be joining Bryce for that. Looking forward to that one too. So any questions about splits? Because I just told you what I was doing with what we did with ours. Tiggy Bud, God bless him, from Boise, Idaho, going to do a hive inspection. All right. Find out just how far along your bees are up there, huh? Because I'm telling you, ours right now, I did two more inspections today, and one of them I split using swarm cells, and the other one I dropped a dividing board in, and those are just for friends of mine that I'm checking on their bees right now. Yesterday I did 6 yesterday for other people, and out of the 6, 3 of them I used swarm cells, 3 of them I used dividing boards. I got you guys in the Ukraine in my prayers every night, so you're not alone, that's for sure. Where is JP? I talked to JP probably about 4 weeks ago. So he's here, but he's not making videos like he used to. I guess his hunting and his business is and I know JP is doing a lot of welding these days. He's having all kind of fun with his welder. So he's making things up. And he's still doing bees as well, but he's not posting videos like he used to do. Come on, where's the questions? You're supposed to be going. Brr, brr, brr. So I told you I went to New Bern, North Carolina, for their state conference, and then 3 days prior to that, I went up to Tulsa and did their state conference. And well, Tiggy, if the box is full, I'm all for splitting my bees. They're your bees. You can do what you want, but I would split them because I don't want them to swarm. Hey, Lamont, how many Abbey hives in total? 113. Bruce Lee, what? I went to the U.S. National Carriers event in Indiana last summer. They were looking for new ways to reach the inmates and raise funds. Many states have beekeeping ministries for prisons. That I know is true, because one of the guys in one of the institutes here in Louisiana, he does have bees on prison grounds, and I know there's a lot of they've got to get all kind of permissions to do all that stuff, but I know it's a program that it's just like Hives for Heroes. It working bees, there is something soothing, meditating, healing about it, and so they try to institute bee programs in these kind of areas. Jonathan Lee, could you split a nuke in the first year? Well, it's possible if it grows up. I would never even consider it because I'm not. I just soon let the bees grow and fill up for me here in Louisiana, I like filling out 2 deep boxes for my soup, my brewed soup. It's ECP. So I would never even consider that, but they're your bees, so you can do it. How many different yards does the Abbey have? We have 10 different out yards. So it takes us a lot of traveling to. That's why it takes us 4 or 5 days to go through all of our hives, because we're probably the furthest yard from us, from the Abbey, is probably about 20 plus miles away. Um, but they're generally about a 15-mile radius from the Abbey. But that one is really far, far away. Did you get my stickers? Uh, Off the top of my head, I couldn't remember because I still got that many, a pile of them. So since we're on the stickers thing right now, let's see. I was watching you and Dirt Rooster when you were doing a tour of the Abbey. All the hotel properties. I wish I had been there. Yeah, that was an awesome time when Randy came. He and I went four-wheeling. There's 1,200 acres here on the Abbey, and there are trails all through there. They're running trails because the seminarians, they use those trails to run in, and so they're wide enough where you can get a four-wheeler in it. So we just went all over. We went plenty of miles that day, but it was 2 hours of just riding around the trails, looking at the river. It was a wonderful time. Do you and Charlie take care of off Abbey grounds? Yeah, so because our hives, most of them, we have over 100 of them. Well, not 100, but close to 80 of them are off property. So that's why we have to go off property. And so what happened when there you are, Annette. I told you I was going to try to do it today. I'm late. I want to do it. I want to do it at 9 o'clock this morning. I had to go put stands out. Then I had to work bees, and I wanted to come on at 1 and then wound up 1:45, but I did make it. So the lesson that I learned after the flood, which actually the flood happened, the big flood here was in March 13th, 2016. So it was 8 years ago that flood came, and it took away, we had 35, at least 35, if not more hives, and all of them washed away. So we lost everything. And so after that, I said, well, I'm no longer going to keep all of our bees on the property, Abbey property. So I started petitioning people about putting bees on their property. And we have yards with 500 acres, 300 acre, 80 acre, 200 acre, and some of them only have 10 acres. But lots of foraging capability for the bees. And right now, here in our area, everything is just blooming out. It's just, this is the my favorite time of the year, as far as when seeing the bees being able to bring in their stores. I got a great story. This is a great story. So Charlie and I are Charlie and I are. I knew it was up north somewhere, Bryce. I thought it was Maine, but it's New Hampshire. I was close. Charlie and I were doing the splits, and we went to our St. Dominic yard, and at one time that yard was just booming. We had 12 hives in there. In fact, when I did the splits, I took the splits off of that hive and moved them about 15 miles up the road to our new St. Bernard yard, which that yard is now kicking. It's sitting on 300 blueberry bushes, that yard. And so back to the St. Dominic yard, 12 hives. And right after that year we do the splits, the number of bees started dwindling, the hives started dwindling. Last year we were down to 6, and then we lost 4 more over since November. We lost 4 more there. So 2 hives there. And we got there, and the first hive, I mean, the bees are just all over the front of it. There's bees coming out of the top. And so I know I'm going to have to split it. So I pop the top, and I mean, the bees just running out of the little hole from the inner cover. Let me see what the superintendent. If a hive doesn't bulk up enough for a split, does this mean we should install a new queen? Not necessarily. I mean, if it doesn't bulk up, you can always feed them to bulk up. It could be a lack of resources for the bees. It, just changing. I'm always very, very reluctant to change my queen. I like my old queen. If if the because she's gonna want she's already laying eggs. So if you get a new queen, you got 40 days before she's going to start having new brood emerge. So no, I wouldn't do it that way. Should a split be already hive? Should a split ready hive always be the status quo? I don't really understand that. Should a split ready hive always be status? No, I mean you want to keep your bees somewhat crowded, but not overcrowded, so that they're going to get the urge to swarm. So if they get too crowded, they're going to swarm. Or if the time of the year is right where you get a nectar flow, throw in your honey supers to keep them in. But no, I like my old queens because I know I get honey off my old queens almost every time. When is the next video of the wall coming? Very, very soon, Annette. You're going to make me jump ahead of what I was talking about. I Because we were talking about the labels, and I've got, because in the last 4 weeks I've really just been doing everything except what I should be doing, going to conferences and then now doing splits. So growing with Hudson, hello. I really have not been doing anything in the honey house. Once the splits are over, I am going to concentrate on finishing up the walls, getting the stickers up on the wall, getting everybody's stickers on the wall. I really feel bad about it because I would have liked to have made a video about me putting up the stickers and all. It's just I'll never get it done if I do it that way. So I'm going to get all the stickers up and then show off the wall and Mona's quilt that she made. And it's actually beautiful. Hey, Evan. And I know Evan is from Africa. Are splits disruptive for the bees in any way? No, they're not, because generally we split our bees to prevent swarming. So we're only facilitating, in a sense, the bees' natural urge. We are splitting the hives, in a sense, making a swarm, and now we take away that urge to swarm, and the bees can concentrate on building up again so that they can make us a honey crop. So no, it's not disruptive. It's actually, that's when the beekeeper is working in together with the bee's natural cycle. So no, it's not disruptive at all. Did you run all your hives with double brood box? Not all of them. We did 51 of them out of 152 were done with screen boards, because you can't, just because you have the screen board, there's conditions. Thank you, Annette. Thank you so much, Annette. There's you have to have a certain amount of bees. For me, there has to be a certain amount of bees. I like between 6 and 8 frames of bees in both the top and bottom box for me to use a double board. At this point, because I'm so late in the year doing my splits, when I'm opening up the box, that criteria is there. And then also there's either swarm cells in there or cups in there, or they're drawn out cups. So if I see cups in there, as well as the bees, I'm dropping in a board. I'll clean it up, drop in a board, and in 10 days, I'll have a queen cell in there. And then within 30 more days, I should have brood in that bottom box. Travis Halfman, how are you splitting with no queens? I just said it. So I use the double screen dividing board. And how to use the double screen dividing board, go to my channel, because I just posted a video on what a double screen dividing board is and how to use it, as long as also as using swarm cells to make a split. So Travis, go to my channel, and the video I just posted yesterday, it's all about the double screen dividing board. Hello, Deborah. How are you? I told Mona last night. I said I think I'm gonna go live because I'm gonna have a little bit of time, but now I don't have as much time as I wanted because I got to go do a swarm catch. So I'm gonna stay on till at least 3 o'clock for sure. But I was hoping to get started earlier, but I was working bees, and so I told Mona I'm gonna do it, so I went on a little bit. How are you splitting with no queen? Like I said, Travis, go look at my video and it'll tell you how to do it. It's I guarantee I can spend a lot more time um, with the video. You can spend more time with that video than I can spend right now telling you how exactly I do it. And I would do a lot better job with the video than for me telling you. Annette, that's so kind of you. So Annette, let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Can y'all see that up in the that right? Let's see where it is. That one right there. That's a it's all these little beads, and she put them all together. Now you can see it's bees. Let me get it. So Annette sent me this, I don't know, at least 3 years ago. She sent that to me, and so that it's up on the wall. Great little thing. It's all these little plastic dots. She put them all together, and so you see all the bees and all that stuff right there. Thank you for that too, Annette. Yep, a swarm catch. It'll be the first one for me this year. I had to turn one of them down already because I was too busy. I couldn't go get it. No, it's not beeswax. It's some kind of plastic things. It's like Legos or something like that. What exactly is that, Lynette? What is that? Annette, what is that? But it's really cool. And I didn't even have to frame that. She sent that framed. It's perler beads. I don't even know what that is. Perler, Perler, perler beads. And how do you get the image? How do you create that image, Annette? How do you create that? Because it's really pretty. I've got a bunch of things on the walls that people send me, and then of course stuff that Mona's made for me. It's on the walls too. But of course that absolutely stunning quilt, and I know one of the viewers I've got he's in San Antonio, Texas. He's got the Applewood Farm. It's Dr. Bruce Comiskey. He's always talking about get the camera and show real close. Well, his wife Janet, get the camera, show it real close, all that stuff. And eventually, I'm going to use my phone as the camera to do these live things, but I still haven't done that yet, and I can't disconnect my computer because it's hooked up to my monitor, and that's what I'm looking at to read. I got all kind of issues, folks. So, Dr. Bruce, I promise one day I will. I will be able to show you all the stuff that Mona has done on that. Oh, ECP, thank you, brother. The maples are now blooming in West Virginia. When I was out on the East Coast, man, they got all kind of stuff blooming right now. Of course, nobody really likes the pear trees, but they were like all everywhere out there. Oh, and that was in Tulsa as well. White smoke honey. Big fan of the channel. Thank you very much. After I killed the queen, how many days do I wait before I introduce a new one? Well, you know, I don't kill my queens. I let if the bees are going to supersede her, I'll let them do it. So if you were to kill them, I would say minimally 3 days. Let the hive. And if you do kill her, the guy, my mentor, Julian, he said what you do is you squish her and you drop her into the hive. And if you do that, they'll start making emergency cells within a day. Hey, Dr. Bruce. And then that's the problem that you have. If you kill your queen, they're going to want to produce emergency cells. And once the emergency cells are being formed, that the bees may very well reject an introduced queen, and I know that for a fact because it happened to me on a cutout. I tried to introduce the queen to the hive that I knew was queenless, yet there was brood young enough in there for them to use, and they made emergency cells, and they killed the queen that I tried to introduce. A very iffy situation. So if you've got brood in there that is young enough for them to make emergency cell queens, they may do that and still reject your introduced queen. Jonathan Lee. I'm not going to try to split it first year. I'll be lucky enough to get it through the. That's what beekeeping is all about. Them little steps, and what's good about little steps is you can um, get pleasure out of succeeding, with little things, and then eventually you can get pleasure out of succeeding doing bigger things. So little steps. That's what I would strongly urge, particularly new beekeepers. Don't I love Mike Barry? He does a talk. In fact, he's talking about responsible watching of YouTube, in sense that you really need to pay attention when you're watching YouTube and trying to get advice from YouTube. You need to follow people that are in your area doing what needs to be done to the bees at that time of year specific to your area. You can't keep bees in Canada and follow somebody like me here in Louisiana. It just won't work. From St. Lucia, all right, Circle of Freshness. Oh, you're very welcome. I hope it answered it good enough for you. Do I ever graft raised queens? No, I never graft bees. I let my bees produce their own queens. Uh, it's worked for me for the last 10 years, and for me to go ahead and start grafting queens, that would mean I'd have to learn something new. I'm not interested in learning new stuff. I'm very happy with the very limited amount of things I do with our bees, and I've had great success with the bees making their own queens, whether it be emergency cells or swarm cells. I know in some cases it would be a lot easier for me to buy queen cells and just pop them in, but because the way I do it, for me it's just easier on my mind to let the bees go ahead and make their own queens. Leonore C. from Fort Pierce, Florida. Thank you for coming, joining today. James from Minnesota. Wow, lots of people from all over. So we had 82. Oh, I got 69 thumbs up. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Wow. What else? What other stories? Oh yeah, that's the story of what happened when Charlie and I were doing a split this week. So we get to the St. Dominic yard where it's down to 2 hives, and that first hive I go to is just busting at the seams in the top box and the bottom box, and then I'll look a little harder, and I'll be a son of a gun if they didn't go submarine on me and start down in the bottom again. And so now I've got 3 sections of bees, and I like best working with 2 boxes, so that way I can isolate a queen. And so I got 3 things of bees, and what I wound up doing, Anthony Perez, Miami, Florida. uh, so I've got these 2 boxes, full boxes of bees on the top, a full box of bees on the bottom, comb everything down there. So what I did was I popped the top box off, and when I popped the top box off, now I got swarm cells in here. So now I don't know whether I have a queen in the 2 boxes, sharing that box, or do I have another queen in the bottom from a swarm? I don't know what's going on. So what I did was I started Jeff Dollar looking to split a hive in a couple of weeks. My hives are all from one captured swarm. Wow, we very good. And good luck with doing that job, Jeff. And uh, in case you didn't know, Jeff, I posted a video yesterday on doing the splits using my method of doing the splits. Hey, Larry, thank you for stopping by. So I don't know what if I've got a queen underneath the hive, and since I got swarm cells in it, I know I've got a queen in there because I've got swarm cells in it. And it's very unlikely that that queen is going to come out of that hive, go down below it, and start laying in there because I've got drone brood and worker brood in there. And let's see what Circle of Fresh from is the opening of honey season here in St. Lucia. This season looks very promising. Yeah, for us too. Our blooms are just going crazy right now, and our bees are bringing in lots of nectar. So our bees right now are they're just building up. And all I've got to do right now is make sure I've got space in the hives for our queen to start laying, so that the bees don't fill up all the cells, and now our queen can't lay, and then they'll start swarming out. So that's the only thing I got to worry about right now is once I go through my first round of splits, adding supers on top of those to give them room to accommodate for what's the nectar that's coming in and for our queen to start laying. All right, so back to the story of our submarine bees. So what I did, since I had 6 swarm cells, and I had so many bees that I actually split that hive 3 ways right then and there. I had 6 cells, so I didn't know where my queen was going to be. So I dropped 2 cells in each one of those boxes that I split. And I still didn't know anything about the bottom. And I was grabbing bees off the bottom, throwing them in those boxes. It was just a big, big mess. And I moved the hive off of that location where the bees had gone submarine on me so that they couldn't go back to that hive. So I knew that when I left after about an hour, and I knew that I'd have to come back the next day and get whatever bees were remaining. And I didn't think there would be that many there because I was just throwing bees and everything. But apparently, all the field bees that I was throwing into these boxes, they all just went right back. So I returned the next day, and there was about 4 or 5 pounds of bees hanging in a cluster underneath my stand. And this time I brought my everything bee vac, Tony, and it was tough because I had to lay down on the ground, and we didn't video any of this. I'm laying on the ground. Charlie did shoot pictures of it, but no video. And I'm vacuuming bees, and I really can't even really look to see if I find the queen. And I vacuumed all those bees, and I brought them back to the Abbey. And I didn't know whether I have a queen in there. I thought it was highly unlikely that I have a queen in there. And so what I did was I went to one of my hives and I pulled out a frame of brood. It was all capped brood. There was some uncapped brood in there. I really wasn't interested in having brood if they could make emergency cells. I just want to keep those bees in that box. So I throw brood in there, and that'll keep the bees in the box. And then I'll go back in a day or two and go through it to see if I've got a queen. And then if I have to fix it some kind of way. So that's what I did. I took a frame of brood, dropped it in the box, and then I put 9 frames of old drawn comb in there, old brood comb in there. And I closed it up. I go back in the next day, not even 24 hours later, about 18 to 20 hours later, I went back in the box and started pulling frames. Hey, Karen, started pulling frames just to see if I did have a queen. And what I find, less than 24 hours later, as I'm pulling out frames, I got nectar in these frames already. Now, whether the bees had gorged themselves prior to me vacuuming up the day before. What I don't know, or they had actually gone out and started gathering because we're in a flow. I don't know the reason, but the first 6 frames I pull out, all of them have nectar on them, and at least one of the frames, like half the frame, has got nectar in it. And so I'm thinking to myself, this is just incredible. Either our flow or what these bees are doing, because I hadn't fed them or nothing. I was thinking I'm going to have to feed these bees because there was nothing I just gave them drawn comb. And so the next frame was the frame of brood that I put in there, and I pull it out, and there walking on that frame is my old queen. So I just put everything back together, and I'm finished. So I got 4 hives off of that one split. So man, that was a great deal. Kiki, if bees live in a tree and a forest fire happens, what will the bees do? Uh, you know, I guess it really depends on how much heat and flames. And so that would be in regard to where the location of that entrance to that hive is. I really don't know if the hive would go down with the tree or if they'd leave beforehand. I would guess that some of the bees would get out. I would strongly guess that the queen would perish, because if she's laying, she's not going to be able to fly, and if there's a fire, she's going to get burned up. So the best scenario is not that good for hives that are in a forest fire. It's not a good deal. Better late than never, Karen. Franklin bought a 6-frame nuke last year. By end of July, they swarmed. Uh, so the only, I mean, if you never keep up with the bees and the queen can't lay in there because they're bringing in all the food, in other words, keep up with the bees by giving them space, that's what they're going to do. They are going to swarm. Um, Lost old hive during winter, but the swarm is flying around today. Yeah, that's right. They're not in your box anymore, but they're in somebody's tree, right? That's always a thought. Well, I didn't. I lost them out of my box, but I didn't lose them, right? Good story, Franklin. Good story. Mahadi, I bet they'll consume as much the honey as they can in a fire before leaving. I would think so too, but the idea that the queen, if if she's laying, she can flutter, but she can't fly. Like when queens leave the hive for a swarm, she slims down. She's able to fly. But a laying queen, because her abdomen is so swollen up because she's laying eggs, the best she can do is flutter and fall and flutter and fall. So she wouldn't make it if she's a laying queen. What swarm prevention method works the best? Splitting your hive. That's the best method that I know. There, you know, there's all kind of ways to do a splits, but to prevent your hive from swarming, given the time of year. I mean, uh, you know, if you've got the flow on and swarm season is over, you can add supers to keep them in to prevent the swarming. But generally, at this time of year, you've got to split your bees. So Terry, do you know Frank? Terry, I'm not surprised with your little business. You probably know a lot of people up there, and your area of Maine. I'm sure that there aren't a lot of people. Look who it is, folks! Joey Riles. Uh, Yesterday was a sad day for us, huh, Joey? So yesterday we did the ceremony for uh, a very good friend of ours, Jennifer Brown. She fought cancer for 3 years, and she passed away about probably about 6 or 8 weeks ago. And yesterday was the services for her. So Joey was up there, world famous Mike Barry, 628 Dirt Rooster. He was there, myself, and a bunch of um, Louisiana State Board Beekeepers Board members since Jennifer was a board member. Hey, Jeremy! Uh, Jennifer was very, very active in the state association and a very, very big supporter of hobbyist beekeepers and keeping um, beekeeping for beginners a very, very, very important part of keeping bees. So and I mentioned that on my video of her passing. She is going to be greatly missed by a lot of people. Which split method is most effective in swarm prevention? So Vlad, I just posted the video yesterday using double screen dividing boards. Go to my channel. It's all there for you. Yes, I know. Rest in peace. You're very welcome, Lisa. See that, Terry? I'm glad you agree with me. Not the best, but I try to pass along the little bit of good information that I know. They got one of the guys I have the utmost respect for, and it is not the 628 Dirt Rooster. Hey, Chelsea! Yeah, we're in our new home. We've been there for 2 years. It's world famous Mike Barry. Mike and I have been knowing each other for 15 years. We were in the same bee club with Julian, same mentor, and but Mike is very, very knowledgeable. So for folks that don't know Mike Barry, he's got a YouTube channel. So does Joey Riles, and we all learn from the same guy, Julian Lane, and so we all practice what Julian taught us. However, all three of us, just like any really normal beekeeper, you take what you learn and you develop it and make it to fit your way of keeping bees. And we've all done that. But Mike really has excelled in being a beekeeper. So for and he'll tell you straight out. He said this is not a how-to video. It's how I do. And he's very, very he makes it a point to tell you that this is how he does it. And if you watch his stuff and find something that you think you can use in your yard, he's showing you how to do it. If not, just take it for a grain of salt and move on. But Mike is a very, very knowledgeable beekeeper. I don't really want to admit this, but the Dirt Rooster is as well, because both his brother and particularly his dad, they've been beekeepers for years, and Randy just he was around them for so many years. He's just picked up on their knowledge, so he is another really knowledgeable beekeeper. You missed it. It's only been an hour, so you didn't miss much, Jeremy. You didn't miss much. Hey, I hope you're recovering. So Jeremy's over in Texas, just on the Houston area, and I'm gonna tell you a story, Jeremy. He got caught on fire, and he burnt a bunch of his skin. I can't remember, 20% of third degree, and you're not going to slow Jeremy down. He's a bee wrangler. He does cutouts. He's just a beekeeper, a beekeeper's beekeeper, and he the doctor told him, well, you're really not going to be able to do your beekeeping. And that's one thing you never tell Jeremy. Don't tell me you're not going to do something. And he told the doctors, now I'll be back at it. And what Jeremy didn't realize, that it's because he's got new skin. He can't even be exposed to the sun. It's not that he couldn't do the work physically. It's just that his skin won't allow him to do that. So he just says, I'm getting better, but just got to stay out of the sun. And that's really it. So I'm glad things are improving for you, Jeremy. Very good. So Evan, are we on the same latitude, longitude? Oh, your winter is my summer. So all you're doing is you're following my videos from the different times of the years, and you keep on track. Very good. That's very good. All right, let's see. I'll be on for another 15 minutes, but I've got to get going. I got to go vacuum up those bees. So if you got questions, you gotta ask right now. Oh, nobody's asking questions. Let me see if I got another story for you. I love this story about getting the four beehives out. Coveralls and gloves work now, but not going to work well in that Texas. They ain't no way, Jeremy. It's no way. And I know because back in the early '80s, I had shingles, and I tried coveralls, man, and those things are stiff on you. Oh, they are bad. They didn't work. Question: how do northerners protect bees during winter? Well, since I'm a southerner, Chelsea, I don't really know, but I do know a lot of those guys wrap their hives in insulation. There's special hive wraps for the winter that they'll wrap their hives from Loch Lomond, Scotland, and it's JSCFB. Thank you for dropping in. David Lewis, hello. How do you like the last part of the Rooster last video? I, I haven't been able to watch it yet. He just posted that, what, 2 days, 3 days ago, and I still haven't gotten to watch it yet. So I don't know. Love you, Jeff. Thank you very much. I don't keep bees, but after watching your videos, they don't freak me out anymore. There's a lot of people that so Terry up north uses tar paper, and Terry, it'll get below zero real often where Terry lives. In fact, one of the first pictures Terry ever sent me, it had 3 foot of snow stacked on top of his beehive. So it gets a lot of snow up there. Another Hawaii person. Hello, Heather. So, what was I going to say? Now I forgot. I forgot what I was going to tell you. Sorry. I watched your while I was on the way to the. So when Joey was getting ready to go to the funeral, he was watching my video on the way up because it was Friday. I posted it on Friday, and Joey was watching it. Better watch it before you have surprise at the end. I use rigid foam. So a rigid foam board, another it's an insulating board. So they just insulate the hives, just to give them a little bit R value. There are a few manufacturers of hives. There's the polystyrene hives that are about 2 inches thick. I don't know how much R value there is in there, but it's a very, very popular hive. Like I know in the UK, they love those hives, that type of hive. But here in the US, there's a company, the Abbey company, and they make a product with a R7 value, and man, that is a great product. It's Abbey beehives. They're out of Arizona, and I see Corhan and Arda. Any bee show I'm going to, they always there, selling their beehives. Hey, Tom, let's see. Yuma, Arizona. How much longer y'all gonna stay there, Tom? I know y'all are on the road a bunch. Donovan, some people just like watching beekeepers work, even if they're not beekeepers. It's calming. Yeah, well, it's not calming when Charlie goes running off when the bees are stinging him. That's the only part that's not too calming. I follow you for your wonderful smile. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your blessings too, Tiggy. Thank you. Mark Smith, always watching videos from Stockholm. Oh, thank you. I took a break from giving out parking citations just to watch you. Well, the people that didn't get the ticket, they appreciate it as well, just as I do too. Thank you so much, Talam. How do you pronounce that? Talamali. Thank you. So do you subscribe to the channel? Do you watch the videos, or you just happen to look on your phone and saw that I was live and you went to it? another 2 weeks, and then headed to Texas for the eclipse. Yeah, so Tom Goodspeed, him and his wife Trish, they came and visited the Abbey a few years back, and Tom actually helped me work bees here while he was here. And um, some of our hives do have top vents, Val, some of them, but not all of them vent out the top. It's just if they have the inner covers got the hole, they do. So Tom and Trish came and visited, and we worked hives. And he's a retired fireman, I believe, and now they travel all over the country. Now him and his wife, they travel all over. And so Tom, when y'all making your way over to Florida, make sure you stop by and say hello again. Carl Hayes, thinking about getting into bees keeping, so I'm investing in watching and learning from you and others. And also too, Carl, the area that you live in, I always suggest that you find a local bee club and join it, because you really want to learn from people that keep bees in your area. It's good to go on YouTube and look at stuff, but make sure the stuff that you look at is going to pertain to you. Maybe you can use some of the stuff in your keeping bees, but there's a lot of information, and I say don't get overwhelmed by the information. Like I said earlier, little steps. Take little steps and take it in. Bees are the real farmers. That's right. We're just their stewards. We just take care of them, Chinook. That's all right. You've been watching for years. That's good. Thank you so much. Did last year's drought stunt the talent? Now, the new leaves are coming on right now. In fact, it was a year ago. Tomorrow will be when we got that freeze. So our trees are right on time. They're doing just what they're supposed to do. Got to go. All right, Joey. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Hey, I'm still waiting to get my lift from Boris. I haven't heard anything back. So Joey and I did a video a couple of weeks ago on a hive lift, using a hive lift, and after using it, I went and I bought me one, because the thing actually, Charlie was holding one of them prison shanks to me and goes, "If you don't get one of those hive lifts, you're going to get this thing." So I succumbed and we bought one. Bobby says, I've been watching for a long while. Enjoy your videos very much. My question is, African bees, do you ever encounter them? You know, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, for some reason, the Africanized bees are not, I'm not saying they're not here at all, but they're not as prevalent or really to any degree. There's only been just a few documented cases of Africanized bees in Louisiana. And me, I have never, ever seen them. Teabag! Wow. There must be at least 15 members watching the live. Thank you all very much for doing everything you do for me. Thank you very much. You're late. Now you're fine. I just found you live. There are also the virtue of error that can only develop. That's true. Beekeeping is full of mistakes, and as beekeepers, hopefully we learn from them. Not like me, where you have to learn and learn and learn and learn again. Eventually, maybe you get it. But it is a lot of trial and error, and unfortunately, the bees pay the price for our lack of knowledge or understanding. But we hope to get better at doing it. So what's Karen say? If you get a chance to see the eclipse, that's what I was talking about. What Tom was talking about, the eclipse. I did a video on the solar eclipse. Now, if any of you have never seen that video, it's several years old. But if you go back into my channel and do eclipse of the sun, I already documented what happens to bees in a solar eclipse. Very, very interesting. And I think you will be surprised at what I found in our bee yard. So Karen, in case you hadn't seen my video on that, just type in search on my channel, solar eclipse, and you'll see it. I've been watching your videos since 2019. Thank you, David. How much reserve honey do you have left? Going into winter, uh, I run double deeps brood boxes. So whatever is the honey is in the double deeps, that's enough to sustain our bees. Generally, it's somewhere between 40 and 70 pounds of honey. That's what the boxes weigh, and that's plenty enough to get us through to the next year. And I never take honey out of my second box. I only take honey from my honey box, the third one. Supposedly, a lot of Texas is Africanized, but a lot that he catches now, because Jeremy, like I said, Jeremy's a wrangler and he's right outside of Houston, and seldom have you told me about Africanized bees. Now, Tony Adrick in Austin, that's all he has is Africanized bees. So it's really, it's just how that those bees came up and migrated to where they're going to be. Heather Moore, all the V channels I found, yours is the, thank you, Heather. Most after some consideration, I decided to hold off for a while on starting. Hubby, no interested. Yeah, well, just keep him watching the videos along with you. Then you all might come. He might come around, and once he comes around, you'll come around. But until then, just keep on watching and enjoying the videos. Thank you for doing that. Karen, you're going to love the video. I'm going to tell you, I think you will be surprised if you've never seen it. Hey, Terry, I got it up on my shelf right here. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. Thank you for that, though. Richard Byrer watching. Thank you. Jeremy says, I set a bee box, powdered off, so electricity with battery pack. It will be blended the yard and record the whole thing. Yeah, Jerry, you just do way too much, dude. Way too much. Oh, I'm never gonna pronounce this name. Gina Ganalwas. Who have African bees? Does have a channel. I know there is a channel all about he calls it killer bees or something like that. But I don't watch all that stuff because it pains me. Even if they're Africanized bees, it pains me just to see people killing bees, even if they're Africanized. And I know there's a lot of beekeepers out west, California, Nevada, that actually keep Africanized bees. Tony, keep Africanized bees because though they're mean, nasty bees, they can handle mite loads and they make a ton of honey. So there's certain genetic aspects of Africanized bees that are very desirable. It's just that their aggressiveness is the part that really gives them the bad name. I've watched a channel where the guy specializes in catching Africanized bee swarms. Amazing how aggressive they are. Yep, they are. They're just terrible. They just won't leave you alone. Mark Coyle, Arkansas requires insurance. And I know also if you're a bee wrangler in Arkansas, you have to be a licensed bug killer or something like that. Because I know I've spoken to a couple of Arkansas bee wranglers and they told me this. And I know you have to have pest control license. There you go. I know that's a fact. There's one bee wrangler up in Arkansas that I know that it's terrible, the regulations, and all that is state trying to monopolize on trying to get funds from people because why should you be licensed to remove bees? The homeowner who's got the bees, they need to be very leery on who they get to remove bees because they might tear their house up or whatever. But there's no reason to be you have to be licensed to remove bees. That's silly. Send me the photos, Jeremy. Does it make a difference if you switch the queens out in the Africanized hive? That's what a lot of people do. They requeen if they have the aggressive hives or Africanized bees. But like I said before, Mr. Ed don't requeen his bees. He lets them do it. So Jeremy says that you have they have permits for removals in Texas. All right, folks, we're gonna hang on for 5 more minutes, and then it's time for Mr. Ed to go because I just got a phone call from the restaurant owner saying, "Are you coming today?" I guess he's kind of anxious. He doesn't want to run customers off because it's right out on their patio where the bees are. Any other questions? Now, I promise, like I said earlier, I promise I'm going to um, uh, make a video about all the work that was done in the honey house, getting all the labels up. That's coming up. Just give me a few more weeks, and I will take care of that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off right now, and I thank you all very, very, very much. Hey, Taylor Boy, for joining in today. It's always an honor and privilege for me to come on and talk. Uh, Ripple Effect to come and talk with you guys. Wayne Becker. Um, Thank you all so very much. Thank all of my members. Oh my gosh, y'all really help me out a lot, and the extra support you give me, it's so touching and heartwarming. So thank you all, everybody. God bless, and I'll see you all on the next video. God bless. Bye bye. We're gonna get out of here.